Imagine this. That's a Korean Messianic congregation right here in the center of Jerusalem. They came from the Far East to the Middle East to bring the Jewish people to know more about Jesus, but in a Jewish way. That's not the only Messianic congregation here. Right up the street, you got King of Kings, another Messianic congregation that's there to bring the message of Jesus to the Jewish people, but in a Jewish way.
Today we are privileged to serve and work with over 40 ministries in the King of Kings family. King of Kings gets to work with 14 different congregations in Israel, as well as having established training centers, prayer centers, humanitarian aid centers, and marketplace ministries as well.
They believe that the Jewish people have to first be converted to Christianity in order to enable Jesus to return. And that's why they've come here to evangelize these people, the young, the old, those who are most vulnerable to a message of the Messianic missionary movement. But they do it in a special way. They blur the distinctions between Judaism and Christianity in order to lure Jews who would otherwise resist a straightforward Christian message. This is very troubling to Jewish communities, not only in the Holy Land, but around the world. Let me show you this. This is a training manual. A training manual on how to convert Jews to Christianity. I'm not kidding. Take a look at this. A training manual on how to share the Messiah with a Jew. Look at the letters. Those are Hebrew shapes forming the English letters. That's the whole point. The point is to present Christianity in a way that appears to be Jewish. What could possibly be in a book like this? Well, verses Christian missionaries need to memorize in order to evangelize the Jews. Cards. This is a Messianic soul winner's card. I'm not kidding. This comes right out of the binding of this training manual. On the top, it says, a Messianic soul winner's card. What could that mean? There are two columns here. The column on your right, at the top says don't say. On the left it says do say. Well, what might be contained in here? Well, let's think about this. These missionaries want to bring the message of the church in a way that sounds Jewish. How would you possibly do that? How could you do that? You have to change the language. It's a game of hide the ball. It's a false shuffle. So don't say Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ just doesn't sound very Jewish. Do say instead the Messiah Yeshua. When witnessing to a Jew, never say you should convert. This is very important. Missionary groups that are targeting Jews for conversion never suggest that you should convert to Christianity. That's like the third rail. Rather say become a Messianic Jew, a completed Jew, a fulfilled Jew. The idea is to convey to Jewish people, they don't have to abandon the Jewish identity. They can maintain their ethnic Jewish identity and accept Jesus as their Messiah. Let's call him Yeshua. Don't say become a Christian. Say become a Messianic believer. A believer in the Messiah Yeshua. Don't call it a New Testament. Call it a New Covenant. And finally, don't even refer to a cross. You notice up there, no symbols of a cross, no crucifix, nothing like that. Instead say, it was a tree or it's a stake. Incidentally, Israel, so many Jewish people from the former Soviet Union who have come here. And missionaries are very interested in them, and they have the exact same training manual, but designed to convert Russian Jews to the Christian religion. Imagine that for a moment. Jews who somehow survived communist, godless Soviet Union to come to the land of Israel and only here to be evangelized by missionaries wanting to target them. And in the center of the book, including all the instructions, the same envelope containing the communications card, but in the Russian language. That's what missionaries are attempting to do to the Jewish people as we speak now. This, if I asked you what this is, you probably wouldn't know. You might think this is a Christian Bible, and if you thought that, you'd be correct. But it's not any kind of Christian Bible that you've ever seen. This is a Christian Bible in Hebrew and Yiddish. Imagine that. The point of this is to evangelize Jewish people in the Hebrew language and the Yiddish language. This is left routinely in homes for the aged, bookstores, in order to bring the message of Jesus, but in a Jewish way. At the very top it says, Habrit HaChadashah, that's Hebrew. And Der Brit Chadashah, there's Yiddish. Bring the Jews to know about Jesus. I want to tell you this. The work of helping Jewish people in the church come back to the truth and beauty of the Jewish faith isn't simple. Listen very carefully. If you're a Christian, if you're in the Messianic movement, I ask nothing of you. If you're somehow lost in a Messianic church somewhere around the world, I am so grateful that you're watching, as hundreds of thousands of people are watching our channel around the world. Millions of people are enjoying Outreach Judaism, but we don't want any contribution. We don't ask nothing of you. However, bringing the Jews out of the church is expensive. Bringing the Jews from the darkest place to the brightest place, well, that's not simple, but that's the work of Outreach Judaism. Helping Jewish people come back to the truth and beauty of the Jewish faith. As the new year is coming, as Rosh Hashanah is approaching, would you consider giving from what God has given you so that our work can continue, so that Jewish people who are lost there can come back to our heritage, to our faith? Please give to Outreach Judaism. Shana Tova.